Hello, hello, guys. I am getting set up here for our workshop this evening. I'm using this new live stream function on Amazon. I mean, not Amazon, on Facebook. That kind of weirds me out. So let me see. Y'all give me, as you jump on, let me know you're here and say hello so I can make sure that I can actually see this. For tonight, what we're going to talk about is creating your own wellness kit. And obviously, this is something that is becoming more in our awareness, the fact of having preparation, that being prepared means that you can stress less. So that's what we're talking about today. And first of all, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your day for that in the evening. Also, thank you guys for joining us for this entire Wellness and Self-Care Challenge. It's been such a delight to create this for you guys with Nicole and Sabrina and Michelle, and give them a shout out too. Make sure that you're commenting if you get time on their posts. Let them know that you appreciate it because it is a lot to put this together. And it's been so much fun to do that with them. And we really hope that it's helping you guys. So thank you so much for participating. Thank you for being here for you, really. We're just trying to help you guys to navigate the current situation to the best of everybody's ability. So congratulations, and thank you for taking care of you and spending a little bit of time there. So I hope that you've been enjoying what we've been sharing. Some of it's been classic self-care. Others of it hopefully has been new for some of you guys. I personally am a crystal jewelry designer and a wellness coach, also a Reiki healer, and I use essential oils. And so I am all things natural, all things energy healing, which is something that some of you guys may know a lot about, and it may be totally new to others of you. If you haven't checked out my first post that I did, I believe it was Sunday evening. It's called the Power Trio, and I'll mention it tonight, but that goes more into how I personally use crystals, oils, and affirmations, and that's really my go-to self-care, especially in times of stress. I know all I have to do is grab those things, and it's almost no effort for me, and it makes a huge difference. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and do that when you get a chance. But really tonight, we're intersecting the whole concept of wellness and the concept of self-care, the concept of stress relief, the idea that when you feel prepared, when you feel in control of your wellness, then you can stress less. When you know that you've done what you could, it takes that burden off of you and helps you to feel less chaotic. And I hope that that makes sense to you guys. I know in areas of life where we feel out of control, we're all experiencing that right now. All of a sudden that stress level comes up, right? And so any areas where you do have control, that's where we want to focus. We want to focus on the things that we can influence. And creating a wellness kit is something we can do today. We can work on over time so that whenever something comes up, we are prepared and we feel that sense of preparation. So I've got my notes over here to keep me from babbling on too much at you guys. I have a tendency to be long-winded because I get really passionate. So if I stick to my notes, this will be not too long. So we all understand now more than ever the value of having that wellness kit. Like I said, feeling prepared and therefore feeling less stressed. And this is something we can do right now. And the beautiful irony of this situation for myself personally is that for those of you guys who know me, I'm a nomad. I travel with my partner, Alan. We live out of our travel trailer and our SUV, and we've been traveling the country really for over a year at this point. But consistently, we've gone cross country all the way to California, and we left New York in November. So part of us, we feel very blessed to be where we are right now. If you see behind me, I don't know if you see that sign, Fear the Deer. We are in Bucks territory. We are in Wisconsin and Milwaukee, staying with family. And we miss New York City. We miss being there with our friends and our family and our loved ones that are going through tough stuff right now. But of course, the whole U.S. is. And so we're so grateful for technology to be able to communicate. But when we left in November to travel, I had this moment of working through my potential concern, thinking, well, suddenly we're going to be in the middle of nowhere a lot of the time, and I may not be able to get to a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's or those stores that I love to go to, the local wellness stores. I also might not be able to get packages. either from Young Living, which I use all of their products, or from even Amazon. If we're not going to be in one place or know where we're going to be, what if I can't get packages in a timely manner? I need to figure out what I need to stay healthy and happy, and I need to prepare for that by gathering together those supplies and having them with me at all times. So I created a wellness kit on the way to our travels in November. And so I realized when this crisis came about, it was such a blessing to me that I was prepared and I was already in that mindset of I have what I need to stay healthy because I'd had to do this already for traveling. And so that's the reason behind me creating this workshop. And I'm actually going to do a series of these coming up to dive deeper into the different categories. My reasoning behind this was like, oh my goodness, I didn't really mean to prepare for a crisis, but I did because I was preparing for not being able to get to stores or technology. And so I wanted to kind of go through with you guys the top 3 things in each of the 5 categories that are in my personal wellness kit. But more importantly than that, what I wanted to do for you guys tonight was to give you an understanding of how you can create your own kit. So how you can think through your own life, think through your own wellness needs, and you can go from that space into saying, okay, well, if I have these needs, let me fill these needs. And you're going to create a wellness kit that's not just like mine, but is one that fits your needs for yourself and your family. So we're going to go through, before I even dive into what's in my personal kit, I want to help you guys go through the process of asking yourself 6 questions so that you can start putting your own kit together. So feel free to take notes. I would love to put this on a blog post on my website. So leave me a comment if you're not able to take notes, and I will try and get those notes available for you guys. I also have some links for the products and resources that I recommend, and I'll put that down at the end. But there are 6 questions to ask yourself. So if you're a note taker, start with the number 1. All right. The first question, if you're trying to get together your wellness supplies, would be, what are my all the time wellness needs? Every single day when I wake up, what is it that I need to make me feel healthy, happy, fit, not stressed? And this is all so individual, and hence I'm giving you these broad questions for you to then write your own answers to, right? So some examples of all the time things. If you have dust allergies, right? Note that down, right? Digestive issues. If you tend towards dealing with stress, if you have a thyroid concern, and y'all feel free to chime in, leave comments as we go. Let me know what some of your concerns are, because we'll learn from each other. You may think of something that someone else says, oh yeah, I should write that down too for myself. So for me, my thyroid is I'm always on the lookout for maintaining thyroid health, for supporting my thyroid. So I am never without my thyroid support essential oils. And so I had extra when we traveled. But obviously not a lot of you guys don't have thyroid issues, but you have other things. So what are your all the time needs? If you're ever without your support systems for this, it won't be good, right? And then this, along the same category, what meds or supplements do I rely on? And I bring up medication here because I'm super grateful that I no longer take any medications, but so many of us do. And we actually had a situation here where we were trying to send some medication from the pharmacist to a family member. It got lost in the mail, and it was at least 2 weeks before we were able to get the medication to her. And so that was an eye-opener for me, that it's hard to stockpile medication, but what do you do if it gets lost in the mail and now you've got to go through this whole process again, speak to the pharmacist, get that medication there? Either having a plan for that with your pharmacist, or having other natural methods that you can have to support yourself in those scenarios. So a lot of us have underlying medical conditions that we need to be medicating for, but we can also be using natural support systems that are going to help us in a scenario where we have to go a little bit without that medication, right? And then, can I stock up on whatever all these needs are, or do I need some extra supplements? and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but if you love fresh herbs, that might not be the best bet for a stockpile, but there are some other things that you could replace for that in the case of an emergency. Okay, number 2. So that was our all the time needs. Number 2, what are my emergency healing needs? Now, a lot of us have already a first aid kit. Obviously, I have one in our SUV for traveling, for being in the middle of nowhere. So you probably have a first aid kit, but those aren't, as we see now, those aren't the only sorts of emergencies. So ask yourself, what are your weak links? Do you have sicknesses that you tend to get once a year? Do you have a tendency towards the flu or towards sinus issues or towards like even dry skin? Do you get dry skin every winter? And is it going to be super annoying if you don't have something for your dry skin, right? If you run out? What's going to be most distressing for you to be without, even though you don't need it all the time? And so as an example for me, I have eucalyptus oil and I've had it for probably 2 years and almost never use it. But I ran out of my breath support oil and I thought to myself, thank goodness that I've got this bottle of eucalyptus that I never use, but it's fantastic for supporting your respiratory system. So now I feel even that much more at ease about this whole scenario because I know I've got that. So I, in the past, had asthma and a lot of other lung issues. And so just having that makes me feel better, even though I don't on a general basis need it. All right, so if you have weak links or things that happen to you once a year, seasonal allergies, right? Something like that. And then what do you fear? Now remember, this is a stress relief exercise just as much as it is a preparation exercise. If you are concerned about certain types of challenges, mental, emotional, physical health issues, then being prepared for those specific things is going to be helpful for you. If you deal with anxiety, always having something that's going to help you cope with your anxiety is going to be really important for you. If you are always concerned about digestive health, if you have, a weak digestive system, and I feel you there, then you're always going to want to have something available just in case, right? So stress, and on the opposite of that, feeling prepared. So that's 1, what are my all the time needs? 2, what are my emergency needs? Things that I want to have just in case. And 3, how long do I want to prepare for? We're back again to this issue of stress relief. What is the amount of effort you want to put into creating a kit and the amount of relief you'll get for having a longer period? So I'm really not the kind of person that has a lot of fear. I wouldn't have had this kit maybe even put together, except that we were traveling into the middle of nowhere. So I feel very blessed that I had that scenario. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have had backstock of my probiotics, backstock of green powder, backstock of some of this stuff. So probably my kit will be about 3 months, but you may be the sort of person that needs to feel more prepared, in which case, yeah, feel free to stock up as long as you need. There's nothing wrong with being over prepared, right? What I would say to you is buy a little bit at a time, add this into your monthly budget rather than in a panic scenario going and buying 6 months worth of a product, because the likelihood of that is very, very low that you wouldn't be able to get it. And so giving up 6 months worth of money at one time is a lot to ask of yourself. But adding in month after month, suddenly you've got the stockpile, right? Okay, so up to you how long you want to prepare for, what will ease your stress, and then being aware of the quantities. If you think you have a 6-month supply, make sure that the quantities on those bottles or cans or products are going to last you for 6 months. Don't get surprised later thinking that you're fine and then 4 months in, you're out of stuff. And allowing you to build over time is not just a money-saving tactic, right? It's not just good financial decision. It's also allowing you to use your favorite local, your favorite handmade, and your favorite natural sources. So if you love to shop from handmade sellers, so I make crystal jewelry, I sell crystals in my shop. If you'd rather buy from me than somebody else, then buying before the crisis happens, right, is going to allow you to support your local businesses. Nicole, who's one of us that's put together this whole challenge for you guys, she makes the skincare and the facial care and all the self-care items. So going ahead and buying some of the masks a little bit in advance, or always rotating through them, or whatever it is that you love of her, planning in advance allows you to really support those smaller businesses and not all of a sudden have to run to Walmart or Home Depot with everybody else, right? Okay, so that was number 3. How long do I want to be prepared for? Number 4, what is the quality of wellness I'm committed to? Y'all, this is huge, okay? What is the quality of wellness that I am committed to? And I want you to think about that for a second, and I want you to write in the comments one part of your wellness routine that you cannot live without. One thing that if you wake up one day and you couldn't do it, it would just be awful. You would not want to go 3 months without doing this, okay? And I'm going to say for me, it's my thyroid support. If I had to wake up for 3 months in a row and I didn't have Endoflex, this is the blend that I support my hormones with, like that's a no-go scenario for me, right? The reason I ask you this is because there are things that we have to give up in a time of crisis. And you know what? Preparing yourself to be okay with that is also a stress relief technique. So if to be happy, you need to go for a run every day, and you need to put on makeup, and you need to be dressed to the nines, and you need to see people, actually being aware that you could let go of some of that and still be happy internally is so stress relieving. That lifts like a whole weight off of your shoulders. And so for me, when we started traveling, not being able to sleep in the same place every night, having to travel to get to places, not being able to have my coffee first thing every morning, having to wait 2, 3, 4 hours before I got my coffee. I learned so many patience techniques, just improved my overall. I don't know that I would say I'm patient, but I'm less impatient than I was before. I don't hardly ever wear makeup. I put a little bit of blush on for you guys tonight because I was doing this video, but I used to wear a lot of makeup and now I wear almost none, just because I realized there's a lot of things I can do without. And that really makes you more flexible, in these stress situations, because you don't need a lot of things. But those things that are non-negotiables for you, absolutely be prepared. So when we went on our trip, I had extra for my digestive support, extra for my thyroid, and extra for my probiotics, which is also digestion, extra for my face, taking care of my face, washing my face. I was just not going to be without those stuff. Soap, right, to wash my hands and not having to be using chemical-laden soaps. Those are non-negotiable for me. But there's a lot of other things I can do without. So what's one thing you can't do without? And go ahead and think, what's something that you kind of feel like is necessary, but you know what? Maybe it doesn't have to be there. Maybe you'd be okay going without something for 3 months. And then how much effort would it be for me to regain wellness? So we're living now with family, and there are 4 of them and 2 of us. And I have a very strict diet that I usually eat. But I am altering that diet because if I ask them all to eat that, it's unrealistic in the best of times. And right now, when we can't always be going to the store to get fresh fruits and vegetables, it's really unrealistic. So I have to tell myself, what are the things I can do that are going to help me not have to dig myself out of a hole quite as much? And I'm wishing I was a little more prepared on the nutrition part of this, which we'll get to in a minute. Okay, so that was all the time wellness needs, emergency wellness needs. How long do I want to prepare for? The quality of wellness I'm committed to. And the last 2 go together. How long will my kit last? And do I want to do DIYs or pre-made? Okay. How long will my kit last? What's the shelf life of these products that I'm going to store for myself? What's the expiration date on these products that I use all the time? And then with that scenario, can I stock a whole bunch? A sneak peek of something we'll talk about. I can stock a bunch of coconut oil and it's not going to go bad. Unopened coconut oil. But I can't stock a bunch of chamomile tea and expect it to be as fresh, right? So either am I going to rotate through and always have a little extra and I'm just replacing each month, like my probiotic I would do, Or can I just stockpile this and just know that I've got that ready to go when I need it? And then the last one, do I want to DIY or pre-made? I'm a huge DIYer. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have DIYs for face lotion, face wash, hand soap, literally all of the things, cleaning supplies, because I love to DIY. I love to know what's in the product. I love to mix it up. And it's so much easier for me to have a thing of Dr. Bronner's soap and some essential oils and know that I can create #all the things rather than having to have 10 bottles of 10 different products. I don't need dish soap and hand soap and face wash and body wash and shampoo. If I just have essential oils and Dr. Bronner's, literally I could do all of the things I just said with those 2 ingredients. So if you're okay DIYing, it's less expensive, more efficient, and has a longer shelf life. But if you're just not going to DIY, then don't stock up on a whole bunch of DIY things and think in the middle of a crisis, suddenly you're going to become a do-it-yourselfer, right? That's just not going to happen. Be realistic. So those 6 questions are the foundation of how you would do your wellness kit. Based on answering those questions, you already know a lot of products that you don't want to be without. Obviously, based on your experience in the last few weeks, there are some things that you probably ran out of and you wish you hadn't. So starting there, and then I'm actually currently creating a series of workshops that are going to go more in depth than I'm going to go tonight in different categories, because you may not actually know how to support your digestive health. But as I'm saying this, you think, boy, would that help me, right? Boy, do I wish that I wasn't dealing with stomach issues on top of this stress. Boy, do I wish that I wasn't exhausted on top of this stress. And so we're going to go through each of those categories in these workshops and give you more ideas for not just products, but also tools that you can use, things you can do, actions you can take that you can now be even more prepared, not just for a crisis, but for life, living a well life. So if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and say this now while I've got you all on here. If you want to participate in those workshops, if that sounds great to you and you want to help me to help you create that kit piece by piece, then I'm going to be doing that in my wellness Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/IvyandLight. I'll put a link later, but you can also just comment and say, yes, please add me in, and I'll make sure you're in that group for when I do those workshops. So now we're to the fun part, the part that you probably came for, which is me giving you some examples of what could be in a wellness kit. And I'm going to share my top 3 from each of the 5 categories that I use for my own kit. And the top 3 I've chosen based on the easiness to use. It's not complicated. They're easy to store, and they're pretty accessible for everyone. So there are things that I use that may be harder to get, or you may not know much about. And so I've really chosen the top 3 that are just pretty easy for everybody to get behind. And then we'll go into some of the more esoteric ones in those workshops coming up. So, okay, let's dive in. Now, I'm going to give you some products. I'm going to give you some ingredients. And some of these are resources or actions, because I know I'm calling this a wellness kit, but it's almost like a recipe box plus the ingredients. It's like having a recipe for how to make something fantastic that's going to make you super healthy, and then also needing the ingredients. Well, if you stockpile the ingredients but you don't know how to use them, that won't do you any good, right? So don't wait until a crisis to put wellness into play. The beauty of this is that as you create this toolkit, you're going to be learning things that are going to help your everyday life improve. You're going to be learning more about digestion, learning more about immunity, learning more about stress relief, and you can put that into action immediately. And therefore, whenever things go down, you're already healthier, you're already better equipped, better set, and you already know what to do. I always use the example of when you feel sick, when you get the flu, when you get a cold, even me, and I'm a wellness coach, I'm just like, oh, just give me the Tylenol and let me lay here, right? I can't even hardly be bothered to use the tools that I already know and love. And so if you are not super familiar with this stuff, it's going to be hard to kind of force yourself to use it. So I encourage you to be using this on a daily basis so that it's like falling off a log to do it when you're in a stress situation, when you're in an illness situation. All right. Dun, dun, dun. So category 1 is immunity. I'm just going to start with where we're all at right now. We're all concerned about immunity. And so what I'm going to share with you are 3 things that I have been doing every single day to support my immune system. And the first, I've already sneak peeked for you, coconut oil. Someone shout out what in heaven's name I would need an entire jar of coconut oil by my bed for. I got this coconut oil and I pair it with one of 2 things. Actually 3, but I don't have one right in front of me. Thieves oil blend or peppermint oil. What I do with this is called oil pulling. I actually have a video coming out on YouTube in the next week or 2 about this. So if you don't know, you will find out soon. But oil pulling, all you do is you take 1 tablespoon of coconut oil or grapeseed oil, any sort of carrier oil, put it in your mouth, swish it around for 15 to 20 minutes. And I use an essential oil for boosted properties. Also, it makes it taste less gross. But I swish 1 drop of thieves and or clove and or peppermint and a tablespoon of coconut oil every single morning. And the reason that I do this is because it is allowing me to use my body's natural process, enhance it for my health. Naturally, over the evening, your body will pull all of the gunk, the viruses, the bacteria, the toxins, all the stuff that's anywhere around this part of your body. It will pull it into your mouth so that when you wake up in the morning, you can spit it out and get it out of there. So there's actually all this stuff travels and gets into your mouth, and that's why you get that cottony feeling, that gross, just, morning breath, is because all of this stuff is here ready for you to expectorate, to get out of your system. When you use coconut oil and swish it around, the coconut oil is a lipid. Bacteria and viruses, and probably other toxins too, have a lipid layer. Those 2 lipids are attracted to each other. They come together, they get stuck, and then when you spit out the coconut oil or your oil of choice into the trash can or into your toilet or whatever you choose to spit it into, you're spitting out the gunk as well. Then you rinse out your mouth, then you brush your teeth, and you start your day. It also is whitening for your teeth, which is bonus. It makes your breath smell better, but mostly it's just helping your body to do its normal detoxifying process that it's doing for you all night long. You're just boosting that. So my second immunity tool is, I already mentioned basically, is Thieves Essential Oil. So this has clove, which is one of the other oils sometimes I'll use. It has lemon, cinnamon, rosemary. Did I miss anything? Lemon, I think, is in there. Yeah, lemon. So it's a combination of essential oils that are fantastic for immune support. The story behind these, if you don't know it, is in I believe it's the 15th century during the Black Plague. There's a group of thieves who would go around stealing from the dying and the dead, and they finally got caught for grave robbing. And they were given a lighter sentence if they would just tell the magistrate how in heaven's name they were able to remain well while doing this when everybody else was getting sick. So they told them the combination of herbs that they used every day in order to support their immune system. Well, that blend became the Thieves Blend. That was how this was created. And spicy oils are great for raising internal temperature, intestinal fire, all of these things that really help to boost the immune system, moving blood through. So it's basically just helping your body do its job even better. And so using that with the oil pulling is one way I do it. Also with a carrier oil like coconut oil or grapeseed oil on the bottom of your feet, because your feet absorb very quickly, is another way you could do it. A drop under your tongue, which is sublingual, which is actually topical use. It's not internal use. It gets down into the blood vessels that are right here under your neck and gets into your bloodstream very quickly that way. So that's my top 2, immunity. And my third one, which I will demonstrate here, you get to see fire, is a sage bundle. This sage bundle is very special to me because it's actually one I wild harvested when I was in California. Found a wild sage patch, and I safely and sustainably harvested about 20% of the patch to make a bundle. And so this sage bundle, you can also use sage essential oil, but I do love the smell of the smoke. This smoke will help to cleanse the air. It will remove impurities, improves the air quality, actually makes the air feel lighter, improves the emotional energy in a room. You can cleanse yourself or you can cleanse your space. It basically neutralizes the positive ions, which you can Google that. I have videos on YouTube about sage smudging as well. But any space that you're in, especially if you're stuck in it with a lot of people, if you're stuck in it with someone who is not feeling well, or if you just can't get outside, just to continue to clear the quality of the air. I have dust allergies, and so I love to keep my air as clean and fresh as possible. I also sage smudge everything that I send out from my shop for that same reason, that I'm cleansing it, both energetically and literally physically cleansing it. All right, anyone have questions about immunity? This platform that I'm on, this page gives me slight agita because I feel like I can't see if y'all write a comment, but I've seen 2 comments so far, so hopefully I'm seeing them all. But if you have any questions about immunity suggestions, feel free to let me know. Feel free to comment. If I say something that speaks to you, let me know that too. The more the merrier. So moving into our second topic is digestion. This is super important for me personally because I have a history of poor digestion, and digestion is the thing that takes in nutrients, and it's also the part of your body that removes toxins. And if you're not getting your nutrients and you're not removing toxins, then really, where are you, right? You really need that for basic functions. So for me, I refuse to be without a probiotic. And this is, see if you can see the name, Life9. I have a video on probiotics. I have blogs on probiotics. I've been using them since 2006, when they were literally, it was like dirt in a capsule. Nobody knew what it was. I've tried like 20 different brands. I love the Young Living brand. There is one other brand that I have found to be equally effective, but it's more expensive. So why would I spend more? Probiotic is a baseline for getting good bacteria into your gut. The good bacteria are what turn your food, the quality food that you're eating, process that and turn it into nutrition for your body. And they also keep the bad bacteria and the fungus and all of that stuff and yeast at bay. So it keeps a good balance within your gut. That's first. Second, I didn't bring to show you because y'all all know what this looks like, lemon and apple cider vinegar. Okay, give me a thumbs up or a comment if you've ever done a lemon and apple cider vinegar shot. You take a shot glass, you squeeze half a lemon and fill the rest up with apple cider vinegar, and you swig. I do that especially if my liver is giving me trouble, if I'm eating a lot of fatty foods or fried foods or sugary foods. I will do that on a daily basis. Like we went on a 5-week trip down south. I'm from the South, so I can say this. We eat a lot of food that is not good for you down there. It's delicious, but it's not good for you. So every single day I was doing one of those. Right now I'm just doing half a lemon, some water, and what's it called? Sulfurzyme, which is a product, or Detoxzyme, is that what it's called? Amy, you might have to tell me. But it's a powder that has sulfur in it, which is helping your body to process out toxins. But yeah, lemon and apple cider vinegar, liver support, detox support, speeds digestion, helps you to digest hard to digest foods. And then peppermint oil. So I mentioned before, some of you guys may be into herbs. I'm into oils, but it's the very, very big crossover between oils and herbs. The problem with herbs, which I actually have a lot of, is that they don't last as long. So if I go to the store and buy peppermint, or I have spearmint tea right now, then spearmint, the actual plant, will lose its potency very quickly over time, whereas spearmint oil or peppermint oil will last for literally ever, ages and ages and ages. And so even if you love to drink tea and you love to drink the fresh herbs, I encourage you, if you're creating a kit and you want to incorporate that, to have that oil. Yolanda is saying she's been adding ginger concentrate also. Yes, we got a giant thing of fresh ginger right at the beginning of this whole thing, and we've been chipping away at it. And we made some, what did we do? Cooked carrots and maple and ginger and almonds, and it was amazing. Highly recommend that. But I also have ginger oil, and I don't use the ginger oil that often, but if I need ginger and I can't access ginger root, or I can't access dried ginger tea, then I've got the essential oil, and I just know that it's there in my cabinet if I need it. So peppermint, I guess back to, I went on a rabbit trail. Peppermint oil soothes the stomach. It helps the intestinal walls to contract and move things through. It is super supportive for a happy tummy and for a well-flowing digestive system. And it also, bonus, is really great for opening and supporting airways. So this little guy is a powerful duo, either on your chest or rubbed topically on your tummy. So I've literally never without peppermint oil. If I even start to get a third of the way, left in the bottle, I will order more immediately. So that's digestion. Probiotics, lemon and apple cider vinegar, any of the citrus oils or any of the citrus fruits are fantastic. I like calamansi, which is a Filipino lemon. So I get concentrated packets of that for us to travel with. My boyfriend, for those of you who don't know, is Filipino. When I went to the Philippines, I absolutely fell in love with calamansi, and now I'm like over lemon and I want only calamansi. But anyway, so that is fantastic for the process of digestion. And then peppermint. Moving on to our third category, stress relief. Okay, I mentioned earlier in this that on Sunday, so like 4 days ago, I posted my Power Trio. And that was a blog post for you guys because it had a lot of different links if you wanted to learn more. And that basically explains to you step by step how I combine crystals and essential oils and affirmations. And the beauty of this as a stress relief technique is that when I don't really worry, but I get anxious. I get hyped up. I get overwhelmed. I'm doing too many things, and I just all of a sudden it's just too much. And when that happens to me, I can't even think to go on a walk, right? I'm already overwhelmed. And so all I have to do is literally grab an oil I love, a crystal I love, and repeat an affirmation to myself. And when I tell my story of how I went from super, super, super sick to regaining my emotional and physical health, one of the pivotal moments that I'll always remember is wrapping my first crystal, which actually was another aventurine like this, and creating an affirmation just kind of intuitively. And I would hold on to that anytime I got stressed. I would hold on to this crystal and I would just say, this is not more important than my health. This is not more important than my health. This is not more important than my health. And I would back myself off of that anxiety ledge. And this was right when I had kind of started to understand how emotional health affects our physical health, how having too much stress in my life could affect my adrenal system. And so having the crystal, being able to hold on to it, being able to get an oil like Valor oil and put it on my throat, build back up my confidence, give me a sense of grounding and peace. That's it. They do the work. I don't have to do anything. I just sit there and it helps, and it gets into my limbic system when I breathe it in. And the crystal, if I have it right here, this is actually my workshop necklace for clarity, for protection, for allowing energy to flow through me and not get stuck inside of me. Just having that on you and having that vibration constantly affecting your emotional state is so powerful. So that Power Trio, I am never without a crystal and an oil, and I never have to be without an affirmation because I create them for myself, right? So The second thing for stress relief is meditation. Again, this is another freebie. You can meditate to silence. You can meditate with a mala bead, Sabrina, who is another one of the lovely wellness experts that has helped create this whole wellness and self-care challenge for you guys. She makes malas, and I had her make me two, one for grounding and one for protection while I was traveling. And so if I'm too stressed out to meditate silently, I'll grab that mala and you just go one beat at a time. I have a video for this as well. If you sense a theme, I've got a video for all this. And you just go one beat at a time, repeating your affirmation, one beat at a time, until you get all the way around the mala. And then you don't even have to force yourself to concentrate because that motion is there to help keep you focused. So I also have guided meditation. So if you do have access to technology in a stressful situation, either on my YouTube channel, or I'm also an Insight Timer. So if you have the Insight Timer app, which if you don't and you like to meditate, you absolutely should. It's a free app with free meditations, mine included. And you can just access any topic that you want. But I have some that are specifically for stress relief, for releasing negative energy. And I have a whole series, clarity, focus, a whole playlist of that, both on Insight Timer and YouTube. And then CBD oil. This is a new one for me, but it's my third new favorite stress relief technique. And the reason I want to highlight CBD is because, like essential oils, you can keep this for a long time. Maybe you don't want to use CBD all the time. People come down two different ways about this, about the cannabidiol system in the body, the cannabidiol properties versus THC, right? CBD versus THC. But it's amazing to me. The beauty of the Nature's Ultra is that it is 100% just CBD. There's no possible THC in there at all. And then they expand the spectrum using essential oils. So I don't have to worry about any sort of a high from this, but just throat, I won't do it through my hair, but the brainstem, your pulse points, breathing it in. This basically has a large effect on your nervous system. And so your nervous system has a large effect on your stress, on how you handle stress. So it's helping you to adapt better in stressful environments. So I got this in the mail the day before all this went down. And what a blessing that was. What a gift. I had wanted to try it just to see if it would kick up my stress relief daily routine. And I've been using it every day since. So that's stress relief, the Power Trio, crystals, affirmations, and oils, meditation, CBD. Again, when I do these workshops, I've got 1,000 things I could share for you for each of these, but I'll probably share about 10 to 15 in each category in each workshop. But these are ones that last forever, right? There's no shelf life on meditation. And so if you're in a spot where you don't have easy access to a store, any of the things that I'm mentioning today, you can do very easily. All right. Number 4, movement. Now, Yolanda, this is for you partially because we chatted about this on the post I did this afternoon. So I'm from New York. Yolanda's from New York, and we walk everywhere, right? A lot of the rest of the country drives everywhere. But if you're a New Yorker, you literally get your exercise going to work. And so suddenly to have to stay at home, you're not exercising nearly as much. And you're just not used to exercising in the house. You're used to maybe going to the gym, but you don't kind of realize that amount of daily exercise that you're getting just from living a New York life. And so having to sit inside, all of a sudden you realize, I feel awful. I feel stiff. I feel tight. I'm gaining some weight. I just don't feel limber. I just feel yucky. And it's because you're not moving. So we know that exercising improves energy. We know that exercising releases endorphins. One thing I was researching while we were traveling a lot was about the lymphatic system. And I somehow did not realize the huge impact that movement has on our lymph. So in order for the toxins in our body to move through the lymphatic system and out of our body, they literally have to be able to move. So actually just going on a walk, just moving all of your limbs is one of the best ways to keep things moving through your lymph nodes, through that lymphatic system. So some of us can still go out on a walk. If you live, in a suburb, we've been walking around the block, shooting some basketball hoops, and realizing how bad I am at that in the driveway. We have a slack line, which is like a bouncy balance beam that we can put between trees. So a lot of things outside, but even if you were stuck inside, you could still do yoga, right? Yoga is absolutely free to do inside, either just from yoga positions you remember from doing a class, or we actually had Sabrina, who makes the malas, Baraka Reiki, who has helped us to put this together. She's been doing yoga tutorials on my YouTube channel. So we already have 3 of them up. We have another one coming your way at the end of this week that are like so simple. You do not have to have ever done yoga before to enjoy these. And they're 20-minute sessions, and they will help you stretch. They will help you get your lymph flowing. They will help you get a little bit of a heart rate up. And they're also fantastic for stress relief. So yoga, walking, and deep breathing. Let's say you can't leave one single room. You can still deep breathe, practicing the technique of breathing in one nostril, breathing out the other nostril, breathing in that nostril, breathing out the other nostril. So I like to do this with oils, which is harder to show you, but just using your thumb. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And you're also breathing in the essential oils at the same time. When you breathe through your nose, it relaxes your diaphragm and allows you to breathe fully into your belly, allows you to expand your entire rib cage, which helps to move around those organs, helps to move your lymph in that area. And it just helps you to release your chest, release tension. So deep breathing is actually fantastic exercise. A lot of us don't know this, but one of the main ways that we process our calories is through breathing. One of the reasons that exercising is so good for you is we actually exhale. When we're exhaling, that's actually burning calories. And so if you want to find a super easy way to burn some calories, do some deep breathing for 20 minutes. You'll realize, first of all, it's actually really hard. It's not a lazy man's task to deep breathe for that long, but you don't have to go anywhere to do any of these things. So yoga, walking, deep breathing, all 3 totally free. That's awesome. Okay, our 5th and our final category for this evening is nutrition. And here I will go ahead and raise my hand, and I will say I was not as prepared as I wanted to be. I wish that I'd been more prepared in nutrition, which is such an irony for me to say, because I love to eat super healthily. We do a detox once a quarter, and so we're generally very, very healthy eaters. Nutrition is very, very important to us. But because we eat fresh fruits and veggies, and we don't eat processed foods, really, we don't eat grains, we don't eat a lot of sugar, suddenly when you're stuck inside and you can't go to the grocery store a lot, now my way of getting nutrition doesn't really work. It doesn't work on a large scale. So the first thing I did was buy a whole bunch of frozen blueberries, because blueberries are high antioxidant value. They'll help you if you have a little sweet craving, right? And they are just super, super good overall for your nutrition. But they last a long time. So rather than buying a whole bunch of packs of blueberries, which are going to go bad, I bought a giant Costco frozen bag, and it took me 2 weeks to go through. So frozen fruits and veggies, you may not know this, but they're actually, when you get frozen veggies, they're actually higher in nutritional value very often than the fresh veggies that are sitting on the shelf at the grocery store for a while before you buy them, because they're flash frozen. They pick them and then they freeze them immediately, which is locking the nutrients in. So frozen green beans, frozen corn, frozen carrots, frozen, whatever, you name it. If you can buy it frozen, it's going to have a high nutritional value. Obviously, get organic would be better. Okay, second thing, green powder and protein powder. Let's say you get into a scenario where you really don't have access to things except for packaged goods. It really would be better for you to be drinking a high quality meal replacement than just eating like McDonald's or crackers and cheese. You can survive on either one, but you really want to be getting the nutritional supplements that you need in order to stay healthy. So I actually The one I'm going to recommend to you is different. I actually have this greens powder because I got it for free at a wellness event that I was one of the teachers. But so this one is nice. It's Pines, the wheatgrass people. But I have others that I've tried before and really liked. I wanted to use this one up. But this is wheatgrass, alfalfa leaf, barley grass, and oatgrass. And it is actually pretty yummy. But I know that I'm getting high nutritional value immediately. I put that in my lemon water every morning right now. And then I also linked a protein powder, which I don't have and I wish I did, but I've used in the past. Something that if you avoid whey, they have goat's milk, or they have the vegan ones, or you can get one that has whey in it, but something that doesn't have a bunch of sugar, right? Something that is actually high quality, having that, and that stuff lasts forever too, having it sit on a shelf, and therefore you have it if you need it. And then the third one is vitamins. I don't really take vitamins because I kind of don't like taking pills. I like the feeling of not having to take a bunch of pills. But now I wish I did have some vitamins. So this is the first time I'm on the Young Living website, like, okay, let's see. Okay, the multigrains, I could get that. Oh, the SuperCal, oh, the vitamin C. Things I had never thought to buy in my daily life because I'm getting them from my food. Suddenly I realize now the value of having that stocked. So Ningxia Red is a drink that is a huge seller for Young Living because it's super high antioxidant quality. So having some of those around so that you can get those vitamins and minerals, such a good idea. So I'm working on myself improving my nutritional aspect of my wellness kit and not just relying on fresh fruits and veggies. So I recommend that for you guys too. What questions do you have so far? I want to talk for a second about your individual goals, but those are my 5 categories: immunity, digestion, stress relief, movement, and nutrition. And for me personally, if I have those covered, I don't have to stress. I know that I'm going to be okay. You may have a different set, right? I could add in there. So in your individual goals, I would add in for myself thyroid support. I didn't put that obviously as a big topic because I know I'm a percentage of people that has an issue. Not everybody does. You might say breath support, right? If you have kind of an asthma allergy thing going on. But I would love to hear from you guys. What's an area that you either that you know that you want to put into your wellness kit, or that you feel like, oh boy, I hope Erin does a workshop on this one. I really want to learn about this particular category. I would love to hear that from you. Because after we go through these categories, your individual goals are going to be super important, and only you know what those are. So I'm always happy to help you do some research on those. So you can message me, you can leave a comment down here, and we can kind of workshop that together. And if it's one that I feel like will apply to a lot of people, then I'll make sure to add it into that workshop series. My final tips, ending us up here. I stayed under an hour. It always makes me happy. My individual tips are know how and where you're going to store this stuff. So this is not all products, right? We've talked about having, some of it's products, having a set of chakra crystals so that you can create whatever trio you want to with your crystals, your oils, and your affirmations. That's fantastic. But those affirmations, where are you going to keep that? So that when you're in a stressful or scary situation or whatever the case may be, and you want something, you want to be able to use an affirmation, where are you going to write that stuff down? Where's your recipe box, right? Where is your toolkit? I keep it on my notes on my phone. I have an iPhone, and the notes section. I have a list of all of this stuff, of affirmations, a list of resources. If I were you and you knew that you love to do a releasing meditation was really helpful for you for stress, I would keep that URL somewhere. I would keep I have a sound healing thing that I like to do where you actually sing different pitches, which helps your body. I know right where that is so that when I need to get it, I can go to it. It's not only important to be able to access it, but I think there's a lot of value in writing this down and having a place that says my wellness kit, and writing each category and writing both the products and the resources, movement, yoga, stretching, whatever it is. Because when you are in a situation that is stressful, or you feel sick, you're not going to have the mental capacity to be reinventing the wheel, to be trying to remember what it was that I said or what it is that you had intended to do, right? Having it where you've already put it in a place and all you have to do is read through and say, oh yeah, I know if I do oil pulling, then that'll be really helpful for my immune system. And that's one less worry, right? Okay, so where do you store it? And then obviously for the physical products, do you have a bag? I have a bag that all my essential oils go in. I have a carrying box that all of my wellness supplies go in when we travel. So I just know where it is. There's no hunting for it. And also so I can take inventory. So I know if I'm running low or not. Accumulating over time, I added that. Adding it to your monthly budget. If you're a Young Living member, doing your essential rewards every month and putting something on that order so that over the months you're accumulating all of those products rather than like spending $1,000 to create this wellness kit. You can do that if you want to, but that doesn't work for my budget. And I know it doesn't work for a lot of people's budget. So just ordering a little bit at a time. And also because that allows you to then support some smaller shops and not have to rush to Walmart with everybody else, right? Okay, having online and in-person options. Ironically, I always imagined a crisis would mean that it would be harder to get stuff online, that there might be some sort of an issue with, thank you, that there might be some sort of an issue with getting things technologically. Turned out the opposite was true, right? We can get everything online, but we can't get it in a store. So having two options so that you have some sort of other way to get something besides just your one way that you usually do it. And then what stores best? Being aware of the expiration date on things. This green powder won't last forever, but I did check and it will last to 2022. So what I would do is I just have an extra one, go through the bag, and then when I order one, swap it out. So I always know that I'm not going to run into a place where I get to this thing that was supposed to help me, but it's no longer good. So with essential oils, you don't have to worry about that. Crystals, don't have to worry about that. A lot of the ingredients, Dr. Bronner's, vinegar, alcohol, don't have to worry about that. Frozen things, don't have to worry about that. So being aware when you create a kit that's for a potential emergency scenario, that you're not storing things that you're going to have to be continually replacing. That gets us to the end of this workshop. Guys, I hope that was helpful for you. I want you to ask me any questions that you have. Please feel free to. I am going to, in the description, if I can, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to add the links for the different products that I personally use. Some of them are on Amazon, some of them are Young Living, some of them are things that I sell, but feel free to get them wherever you want, but they're just products that I know that they work for me personally. I have vetted them myself, so I feel comfortable giving them to you as suggestions, and also links for the yoga videos, links for meditation, links for my videos on some of these topics so that it's just really easy for you guys like falling off a log to get to that. I will also link how to get to my Ivy and Light 101 group. This is a free wellness group. It's where I do all of my workshops like this. And that's where I will be posting soon the different wellness kit workshops coming up. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you offering your time up to be here. I appreciate you prioritizing. Thank you for joining us for this Wellness and Self-Care Challenge. Thank you very much. Love you. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope that it is a little bit less stressed having this information. And I just hope that we all make the most of it. Know that I'm sending you love. I'm thinking of you and wishing the best for each of you. So love and blessings, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.